Hello and welcome everyone. In this video, we will be going over to the topic of Microsoft Excel and how to do logical tests in Microsoft Excel. My name is Rafael Shihab and I will show you how to do this in MS Excel. Okay, so we will learn how to do the if statements, or statements, and at the end, we will also learn how to do the nested examples. So what are the logical operators in Excel? As you can see, I have listed a few of things. So these are the signs that says equal to, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. So we can use these operators to execute these logical meanings or logical conditions in our examples. So let's come to this point. What is the if condition? So if we write these equal sign in an Excel cell and write if, there are three different terms that we can write. The first is the test. So the test is a logical test, and it gives us only the true or false. So if the test is true, it will give us the value of true. If the test is false, it will give us the value as false. And in the, after the comma, at the second slot, we can write the statement that if this test is true, the Excel will print this true statement or whatever the command that is in here. And if it's false, then the Excel will print this last false command or whatever you write in here. So as you can see, we have many examples. Like if the test, if the example is like if A1 is greater than 0, we have at the position of true, we have the number is positive and it's in the double quote, and we have the number is negative in the double quote and in the third slot. So if we select A1 value, something as greater than 0, this will appear in that cell. So this command, the number is positive, will appear, and if it's false, the number is negative, will appear in the cell. Okay, so let's talk about more. Let's go to the Excel and let's see how this thing works. Okay, so I have opened my Excel sheet. So the first column contains some variable X and some data. Okay, now on the second column, I called it logical test. Now we have to determine which of these values are positive or negative through the use of if statement. So how can we do that? Let's click on this cell and let's press equal, and then let's type if. Okay, so if we type if, and you can see this thing, parenthesis, you can see this is showing the logical test is the first slot, comma the value of true, comma the value if false. So if this X value is greater, this is the sign for the greater, the operator is 0. If this is the 0, so this is the test, comma, now it will ask what it will do if the value is true. So if this is 0, I'll just start the double quote and say positive. I'll end the double quote, press comma, and now it will ask what will happen if the test fails or the test is false. So we'll just write negative and end quote and parenthesis, type enter, and as you can see, this is positive as this value is 1, this printed as positive. Now I can just come over here at the bottom corner. When the cursor changes, I can double click on it and it will fill out all those cells, and as you can see, those are those values that has positive numbers. It just printed positive. those values which has negative numbers, it printed negative. So using the if statement, we have successfully identified the positive and negative values in this X column. So let's go back. Okay, so now we will talk about other functions that we can use. So first we will talk about OR function. So OR is a function, and the syntax is something like that. If you type equal or test1, comma test2, comma, you can have n number of tests here. So what it will do is that it will test the logic and give us only true or false. And it will test it as if any one of these are true, the output will be true. In these statements, if any one of these are false, but the others are true, it will still be true. To become false, it has to be all the conditions has to be false. So in a way, you can see if we come down, the first statement says or 5 equals to 2, which you can we can see that this is false, but this is true. The output is still true because it just takes either this one, the first one, or the second one. So it takes the second one as it is true. To become false, you can see it has to be both of the statements, or all of the statements in the or function has to be false. Now if we go to the next one, it's called AND statement. And as you can see, we have the similar syntax like OR. We can have n number of tests here, and similarly it will give us a true or false. The conditions that we provide has to be true. All of them has to be true for the output to be true. If any one of them becomes false, then the total output will be false. So as you can see from this example, 5 equals to 2 is not true, so it's false. But 2 plus 10 is true, but the output is false because one of the tests is false. And from the second example, you can see this one is true and the second one is also true. As all of the tests are true in this case, the output will be true. So let's go to the next topic, which is called the nested logical statement. So what nested means is that it should be something that is inside of something else. So we can have a function, a logical function, and then within that function we can have multiple other logical function or tests, and that will affect the overall statements. Now, as you can see, we can have if as an overall statement, and inside the nested logical statement we can use or, and that will test. So the first one will test the or function, and the overall if function is determining whether the or is true or not. If it's true, then it will continue to print true. If it's false, then it will do whatever it is given in the false command. So as you can see in this example, if or 5 equals to 2, comma 10 is less than 20, and we said right or wrong. So as this one is false but the other one is true, the or will return true. So if or will return true, the if statement will have a right printed in that cell. So let's try an example in our Excel. I will pull up my Excel sheet. I have another sheet here named nested logical tests, and I have two data sets. One is X, another one is Y. So what we are going to do is in the column C and D, we're going to do some logical tests, and it will require us to utilize the nested logical tests. So first one is asking whether both of them, both X and Y value, are positive or not. If they're positive, you can print yes. If they're not, you can print no. And the column D is asking either X or Y is positive. So either one of them is positive. So if one of them is positive, print yes. If none of them is positive, print no. So this column will utilize the AND function, and this column will utilize the OR function inside a nested if function. So go ahead and pause this video and try it on yourself, and I will show you how to do this. Okay, so let's do this. First of all, the logic is both of x and y values needs to be positive. So this is an AND function. So what we need to do is first type the equal function, then write the if function, because we need that if function to operate, and then parentheses. What is the test? The test is both x and y needs to be positive. So let's type AND, because this is an AND command. Start the parentheses. Let's say this cell, which has the x value, A2, should be greater than 0, and then comma, B2, which has the first value of y, should be greater than 0, and close the parentheses. Now, what it will do, I'll just put a comma here. What it will do is that the AND function will evaluate if both of these tests are true or not. If both of these tests are true, it will return a true value. If it returns a true value, then it will execute the second slot. If it returns a false value, it will execute whatever there in the third slot. So let's put some values. So we said yes if it's true, comma, if it's false, type no, end the parentheses, and press enter. As you can see, 1 and 5 are both positive, so it printed yes. If I just come down at the bottom and double click, and you can see as I have a -7 here, it printed no, because both of them are not positive. No, and both of them are positive, so yes, and so on. So what about this? For this, we need to use similar function, but now we need to use an OR function. So I'll press equal, write similarly if parentheses, just write an OR function, start parentheses. This A2 should be greater than 0, comma, B2 should be greater than 0, and parentheses, comma, yes, code no. Okay, so what it will do is it will evaluate both of these conditions. If one of them is true, then it will return a true value. If both of them are false, then it will return a false value. So for this, if it returns a true value, then it will print yes. If it returns a false value, it will return no. I'll just press enter. As you can see, either 1 or 5. Is it true? Yes. So I'll just come here, double click, and as you can see here, as there's a -7, but there's a +2 also. So it just took that and printed yes. The only thing is that here the column has double negatives, so it printed a no. So that's how we can use a nested logical tests, and also you can see how we can use and OR functions in the logical test. So the nested logical tests work like this. Hopefully that cleared out some doubts. Let's go back to the slides. So the next topic is we are going to use an example to actually demonstrate how these logical tests might be at work, and it can be complicated, but how can we actually do this? How can we solve this problem? Okay, so this is a problem. Go ahead and pause this video if you want to read it, but the problem is we need to identify this types of steels in terms of the alloying elements and carbon contents and chromium contents. So depending on these 3 parameters, we have to determine which of these groups will signify will be in what type of steel. And this is the actual logical tests that we need to do. So as you can see on top, there's steel types. So If the percent of AE is less than 10, it will be low alloy. If it's greater than or equal to 10, it will be high alloy steel. Okay, and then you can see it goes back further. So percent C is the carbon content. So if the percent AE is less than 10 and percent C is less than 0.5, it will be a heat treatable steel. If it's low alloy steel, but it has a carbon content higher or equal to 0.5%, it will be called as a tool steel. Similarly, you can see there's stainless steel and also there's a tool steel. So we have to do this in Excel using a logical tests. So let's go ahead and do that. So I will go over to another sheet here that's called example problems. I already have the data here and I have copied the figure here to know how what was the logic or the conditions for our steel types. So these are the three data sets I have here, and these are the things that we need to figure out. Is it what are the steel types? Is it heat treatable? Is it stainless steel? Is it tool steel? So these are different kinds of materials, and these are different. These have different contents. So let's do it one by one. So first, let's do what is it a low alloy or a high alloy steel? So as you can see, it's a straightforward logical test. If this value is less than 10, it will be low alloy. If this value is greater than or equal to 10, it will be high alloy. So let's just do one of them. So let's just press equal, press if, parentheses. Now I select this one and press less than 10. So it will test that. If it's true, then type low alloy, end quote, comma. If it's false, type high alloy, end quote, parenthesis closed, press enter, and as you can see, it is high alloy because the value is 20 at the first cell, so it's greater or equal to 10, so it is high alloy. So if I come here, double click, as you can see, I have the types sorted out, if it's a high alloy or a low alloy steel. Okay, so that was the first one. Now the question is it heat treatable? Now to become heat treatable, it has to satisfy two conditions. One, it has to be a low alloy, and also it has to have a carbon content of less than 0.5%. So there is this and condition that we have to implement here to do this test. So let's just go back to the slides so that I can show you guys. So this was the low alloy. First we have to test if it's less than 10 or not. If it's yes, this goes to this way, and if it's no, this goes to high alloy steel. That's what I just showed you guys in the Excel. Now the second one is if it's heat treatable or not. So first we need to test whether the AE is less than 10. If it's yes, it's a low alloy, and test whether the percent C is less than 0.5. If it's yes, then definitely it's a heat treatable steel. Okay, so let's go back to the Excel. Okay, so is it heat treatable? So now we need to satisfy this. So let's see, I press equal, press if, parentheses. Now, as I have two conditions to satisfy, I have to use a nested AND so that both of them should be satisfied. Press AND, parentheses. So the first one is AE should be less than 10. So press this cell, less than 10, comma. This percent C should be less than 0.5. This is the percent C value of V2. Should be less than 0.5, parentheses closed. So this AND function will evaluate either both of them are true or not. If both of them are true, then this if statement will have a true here, and then we'll type if that's true, then is it heat treatable? And the answer is yes. I'll type yes in the true slot, and comma. I'll type no in the false slot. I close the parentheses and press enter. Now, as you can see, it has a AE content of 20, which is high alloy. So if it's a high alloy, it cannot be heat treatable. So if I just do this, all the high alloys are no. It should be low alloys, and you can see this low alloy is not heat treatable because it has a carbon content that's greater than or 0.5. So that's why it's no. So we just sorted out this types of steel. Okay, so let's go back to these slides and see the next one. Okay, so now let's figure out, is it a stainless steel or not? It's similar to what we did in the heat treatable steel. So so first we need to see if the AE is greater than or equal to 10, because this needs to come in this way to be true. So if it's greater than or equal to 10, this is a high alloy steel, so that's the first condition, and the chromium content should be greater than or equal to 12. If it is yes, then it's a stainless steel. So let's go back to the Excel and type in. So now we have a similar AND condition. So I'll just type if, and now we need AE should be greater than or equal to 10. So this is the AE. Greater equal is greater sign and then equal and then 10. That's our first test. The second is the chromium should be greater than or equal to 12. So the chromium has C2, it has the chromium values. So this should be greater than or equal to 12. So this is our test. If that test is true, then it will type yes. If it's not, if it's false, then it will type no. I close the parentheses, type enter, and double click. There's your sorted material. So is this sample stainless steel? No. Is this one stainless steel? Yes. How? Because it has the high alloy. You can see it is a high alloy, and the chromium content is greater than 12, which is 15. That's why it said yes, and the other ones are not. So we have sorted out the samples if it's stainless steel or not. So we just have the last one, which is the tool steel. So is it tool steel? So this is the tool steel. Now you can see there's this path that it can take to become a tool steel. So it can have AE less than 10, which is the low alloy. So it can be a low alloy, and the carbon content has to have greater than or equal to 0.5%. Then it will become a tool steel. If these two statements are true, then only this will become a tool steel. Alternatively, if it's a high alloy steel, then it can also become a tool steel by reducing the chromium content from less than 12%. So if the chromium content is less than 12 and high alloy steel, it can have. So it can take this path, or it can take this path. So it can take both of them, either of them, and so you can take this one or this one. So there's an or statement inside this. So the first statement should be this one and this one to become a tool steel, and then or this condition and this condition. So we just have to be really careful. So we have to use and conditions on the insides, and then the or condition to differentiate between these two, because either of them works. Either of the paths I take should go to this tool steel. value. So let's go back to our Excel and let's implement this one. Okay, so as we've seen, we need nested logical functions. So first, as always, let's type if. Now let's think about it. First, let's just see what is the condition. As we said, we can take this or this, so we can have an or condition. Okay, and then we can have the first condition, which is the AE less than 10 and the carbon content greater than equal 0.5%. So we can have an AND function, parentheses. First statement is AE less than 10. AE is this value, which is, I just pressed less 10, and comma. The other one is carbon content should be greater than equal to 0.5. Carbon content is B2 greater equal 0.5, parenthesis closed. So that's our one path that it can take to become a tool steel. Or, so I'll put a comma. So or it can take in this path too. So which is, I'll put another AND statement. The AE can be greater than equal to 10, which is AE greater equal 10, comma. The chromium content has to be less than 12%. So chromium is this one, which is C3, less than 12%. So this is our second condition. As you can see, we have both of the paths defined in these AND conditions, and then we have on top of it an OR condition that's differentiating between these two. So either this path or this path becomes true, this whole if function will become true. So we should press the parentheses, so that closes this OR condition, this red one. Now put comma, because now it's what value if true. So what will happen if it's true? As previously we said, let's type yes if it's true, comma. If it's false, let's type no, and complete the parentheses of the if, and press enter. Okay. Now, as I said before, is it a tool steel? Yes. How? Let's see. The AE is 20, which is greater than 10. So this means it's a high alloy. Yes, it took this path, high alloy. And the other condition is chromium has to be less than 12. As you can see, the chromium is less than 12, so it's a yes. As I can come here, double click. As you can see, the other one's a no, because even if it's a high alloy, it's a no because the chromium is greater than, is not less than 12. Okay, so that's it. That's it for this. That's it for this class. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to ask me. I will be happy to answer. Thank you again for watching. Bye.